Hi, welcome to SBR Forum Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. This is Into the Weekend with Bet DSI, the call we do every Thursday with Brent, the headlines manager at DSI Sportsbook, where we take a look at some of the upcoming sports betting events for the weekend, and Brent tells us what kind of action he's seen on them, where the sharps have been, and which sides the public has been pounding. Right now, it is December 6th, so we're looking ahead to NFL Week 14. We've got the Army-Navy game in college and a big Pacquiao fight and UFC on Fox. Brent, thanks for doing the show with us once again.
Glad to be on, Peter.
Okay, I guess let's start with the Army-Navy game. There has been pretty significant line movement on this one. It's gone down to 7, but I've also been seeing and hearing that the public is favoring Navy. So is this actually the one college game of the week, one that gives us a big public sharp split?
This one actually is a case like that, Peter. We've got the count of about 2-1 in favor of Navy, and our money is about 2-1 in favor of Army. And as your viewers will know by now, that kind of distinguishes a really sharp public sharp split. We do have a lot of the Army money we got was when it was 7 laying 05. Right now, Army's +7 -15, the dog -15 there. But it's strictly public on Navy, sharps on Army here.
Okay. Pretty straightforward, not surprising there. All right, now then in the NFL, there's finally a marquee matchup for Monday Night Football. It's Houston and the Patriots.
Yeah, actually, this week there's a lot of good matchups here. I would say like New Orleans, the Giants is kind of a marquee matchup. The Sunday night game, they finally got that one right as well, Peter. We've got Detroit at Green Bay, which is a pretty decent matchup. So this week's going to be pretty good in terms of action, I think. A lot of people who would really be betting on college maybe play a little more NFL, and of course there's the regular NFL better. So this weekend is going to be very good for us, and we've seen action increase already.
Okay, so on these marquee matchups, is the public generally split on them, or like in the Monday night game, Houston Patriots? What's the public action like been in that one so far?
Well, I mean, we always have public action on New England, and it's really, that's stuck in, that 10 years running, it seems to be. The sharp money we do have on this game has been on the dog Houston +4. We took some serious bets there on Houston +4. Right now, the line is New England -3, -130. The count's kind of close, but the money actually favors at Houston at this point right now, talking about straight bets. Now, of course, New England is always a strong teaser team, so you got the public teasing the heck out of New England. We actually have a sharp public split on the total in this game as well. We've got sharp money on the under. Now that money came in at under 53. We're now at 51.5. But as you would kind of expect on a marquee game like this, and the Patriots playing, the public is all over the over. This is a case where we've got sharp money on the under, Peter.
All right, and then in the Saints-Giants game, that's a very interesting handicapping situation. The Saints are off of extended rest, and the Giants are off of a short week off the Monday night game. The line has gone down a bit. Was that because the sharps came in on the Saints +6?
Not really. Everything's pretty much even on this game right now. We've got our count is even, our money's even, so this game sets up really nice for us. We're sitting with the Giants -5 right now at home. It's just one of those games where New Orleans is so capable of putting up points that you can easily see them, covering a line even if they don't win, but they also score enough that they could win outright. And the Giants, every now and then, they fall flat on their faces, which has everyone kind of scratching their head sometimes. But this is one of those games that you touch on, is a marquee matchup, and we'll get a lot of action. Right now, the sharps really aren't involved in the side at this point, but again, this is another one where, as a public bettor, you're looking at these teams, New Orleans and the New York Giants. They score a lot of points, not a whole lot of defense, at least from New Orleans' side. So they might be playing catch-up. They might be throwing the ball a lot. We have a ton of public money on the over, and we have sharp money on the under. Now, the under money we took was only at 53.5, and I say only because we're still at 53. That's because we've got so much public money on the over, Peter.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Sharp public split on the total in Saints-Giants. And then in general, from the rest of the NFL card this upcoming week, any sharp action on sides and or totals that you can tell us more about?
I'll touch more on some other totals in a moment, but one game more that we have another kind of sharp public split is the Philadelphia Eagles at Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Sharps on the Eagles.
When the season started, who would have thought that Tampa Bay would be, a 7 -15 favorite at home to the Eagles? That was just, unthought of, unheard of. And right now we've got sharp money on Philadelphia.
Yes.
It's close, +8 and +7.5. My count actually favors Tampa Bay about 3-1, so the public is all over Tampa Bay at home. I guess they've just really, really soured on the Eagles at this point, which might be a good time to jump in on them, and the sharps have.
Yep, absolutely. I previewed this game, and we came to that conclusion as well, that the Eagles might be a great play this week, and this sort of fortifies that and solidifies that. All right, tell us a little bit more about some total sharp action that you've seen.
In terms of sharp and public splits, there's another one is Tennessee and Indianapolis. The sharps won under 49 there. And that was just strictly sharp money, and you could easily see that one staying under the number. Tennessee doesn't look like they've been able to move the ball very well. And another one is the Jets and Jaguars. Sharp money is on the over there. Now the total's 38.5. The Sharps won over 38. It's one of those ugly kind of games, and Mark Sanchez looks like he's going to be a quarterback for the Jets still. And it's just one of those games where really it's tough to pull the trigger on the over, but the Sharps did play the over, and I've got with two ugly teams, of course, the public are on the unders. So it's kind of the reverse of the other marquee matchups we talked about. Okay,
so which sides, if any, has the public been betting? Are there any games where we have 10-1 count in the money?
Not 10-1, no. I would say Atlanta, they're a 6-1 count. The money is about 3-4-1 in favor of Atlanta. So that, as of right now, that's a big decision for us. And we also have the Colts as a big decision. Now, that's actually not a good situation for us because we've got a count of about 4-1 in terms of Indianapolis in favor of them. The money's about 4-1 as well. And we took sharp money on Indianapolis minus 4.5. Now the line is 5.5 right now, kind of fishing for some Tennessee money, and we haven't found that yet. So that's one of those decisions that could hurt us, and we've got sharps and public on the Colts, Peter.
Okay, are there any games with notable sharp public splits with the side?
Well, one interesting game, Peter, is Baltimore at Washington. The line came out there at Washington was just a pick, and when it came out, you kind of figured that was probably the right line. I mean, Washington's defense hasn't been that solid. Baltimore's obviously a very strong team, but I think the Sharps are keying into, and I guess the public's kind of going with them now, is that Baltimore's just not a very good team on the road. They're kind of like Seattle. Seattle's fantastic at home, terrible on the road, and Baltimore's like that. So Washington line has shot out from a pick where the Sharps came in all the way to 2.5 right now, and it's going to be one of those situations where the only sharp money I think we could see ourselves getting is if we go up to 3 on Washington, and they'll jump in on Baltimore there. So that's one to look out for.
Okay, very interesting NFL card this week, Brent. Thanks for shedding all this light on it. Then there's also Manny Pacquiao fight.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of action on it, and actually we're getting a lot of one-sided action right now, and that one-sided action is on the Don, Juan Manuel Marquez.
Really?
If anyone has seen the first 3 fights, this will be fight number 4 for them. Things have been really, really close between these two guys, and that's why we're seeing a 4th fight. Now, they're both going to make a ton of money on it, and if you go back to 2004 when they first met, the first round, Marquez just couldn't deal with Pacquiao's hand speed, and he got knocked down 3 times. Now, the fight went the full distance and ended up being a draw, which means basically if you take out that first round, Marquez won the rest of the fight.
Right.
They fought again in 2008, which was a split decision, and in November as well, which was a majority decision in favor of Pacquiao. So, I mean, you look at the scorecards for these fights, it's always been like 114, 113, 115, 13. You know, it's been so close between these two guys. So I guess 4th time around, getting plus 220, plus 225 on Juan Manuel Marquez. People are liking that. And I guess maybe the luster's a little bit off Pacquiao just because he lost his last fight to Timothy Bradley. Now, a lot of people might say, well, they think that Pacquiao actually won that fight.
Right.
But Bradley was awarded decision, so that might be why some of the luster is off Pacquiao. But in terms of betting volume, they're still all over this fight, and I think you'll see records set in terms of how many people buy the pay-per-views and the attendance as well, Peter.
Wow. So does that mean that if Marquez wins, that you'll lose on it?
Right now we will, but I wouldn't be surprised if the line gets low enough. You'll see some sharp money come in on Pacquiao. I mean, you can't deny the fact that, according to the judges, he's
Right.
won the first 3 fights between the two of them.
Okay, and then there's also UFC on Fox with Nate Diaz and Ben Henderson headlining. How's the action been on that? You getting pretty big volume on it?
Getting decent action on that one. We're going to have live betting on the Pacquiao Marquez fight Saturday night. We're going to have live betting on the UFC card Saturday night as well. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on for us. This UFC card is really good from top to bottom. I mean, you've got guys like Rua going, and he's a dog against Gustafsson. BJ Penn is a dog to McDonald. Mike Swick is fighting Brown. I mean, you got guys who are really competitive guys and usually put on good fights. The main event is simply fantastic with Ben Henderson and Nate Diaz. I mean, those guys are 2 of the most exciting fighters out there. And it's a really closely matched fight as well, Peter.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks so much once again for all this great information. Brent from Bet DSI. Thanks, and we'll talk to you again next week.